we're getting around that time of year when people are wearing costumes and it's gonna be trick or treating and things like that happening more often. You know, into that time of year when there's gonna be some costumes coming out, and there's gonna be the odd party from time to time. And I have a little story about a certain party I went to. It's another one of the more embarrassing things, but I guess that's what the gameplay portion of this channel is about. Is getting working through these traumatic times that have happened, and this one's pretty traumatic. So, me and some of my friends, we were invited to a Halloween party. It was like a costume party, and there's four of us, and we kind of decided, we'll do a group costume. We'll come together and we'll do something. And one of my friends, he decided, hey, we should be the band Kiss. And I was like, okay. I kind of thought I might get stuck with the role of Peter Criss, the drummer. The cat. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe. And just so happens one of the guys, he wasn't that excited about it, and he's like, I don't really care who I am. So we stuck him with Peter Criss. He got to be the kitty cat. And I feel like I won because I got to be Paul Stanley. It's pretty easy costume, especially in comparison to Ace Frehley or Gene Simmons. Like, I'm not willing to put that much effort into this. But the other guys, they were fine. They were excited about it. But I got to be the lead singer, Paul Stanley. That was pretty good. And so I got some makeup, and I got some tights. They were like yoga pants. I got some of those, and I don't particularly have a hairy chest, but I was able to find. I cut up a wig, and I pasted it to my chest the night of, and I'm like, oh, this will be funny. When we get there, I'll just take off my shirt and walk around and just say things that I think Paul Stanley would say. And I just made it a point that I just wouldn't go outside. I'm not willing to get cold. It's fall. I'm not willing to put that much effort into this, but as long as I stay inside, I should be fine. And we had a great time. We were the life of the party. We were the hit. We walked in there, and people were like, "Oh, it's Kiss!" Right? And we're like, "Yeah." One of my friends, the guy playing Gene Simmons, he had this fake tongue, and he rolled it out of his mouth, and it looked really cool. And from my memory, I think we were the life of the party. And we definitely celebrated, and it was a lot of fun. And so the party ended. The guy playing Ace Frehley, he ended up actually getting kind of sick, and but it was still a pretty good time. And I remember I got home, and it was it was pretty late. It was probably 1:30 or 2, and I got home, and it was I finally got to like take off the sweater that I'd brought, but I didn't wear. I took it off, and I just wanted to sit on my couch and relax. I didn't even try to take off the makeup yet. I took off the wig I had, and I was probably, it must have been like 5 minutes, when all of a sudden the fire alarm went off. And I was petrified. For some reason, I remember just thinking, there's a fire in my apartment. And I ran, there was only like 3 rooms, and I ran to each room looking what it was, and I realized, oh, that's not my apartment, silly. And so, the thought of, okay, I'm going to be engulfed in flames soon kind of hit. And I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. And, I didn't really have much concern for anyone else in the building. And so I just kind of just left. I just ran out, ran down the hall, went down the stairs because that's safe. And I went through the fire door, and it was great. I was like the first one in the parking lot. But Thing is, I didn't grab a sweater or anything, and it was really cold. And we got out to the parking lot area because I figured that was probably safe, and that's where people were filing out through the front door. And there, sure enough, there's some smoke coming out of one of the apartments. And I realized, I'm like, okay, I can't go back inside and get a sweater or anything. And I'm kind of dressed as Paul Stanley, and it was a little bit embarrassing, standing there. So I just kind of I found went by the dumpsters. I found a little spot I could just hang out. At the time I didn't drive or anything, so I couldn't like hide in my car. And everybody's just kind of like hanging out, seeing what happens. And the fire department did show up eventually. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty embarrassing. Everyone is here, and I'm just gonna like stay hidden. I hid there for a while. It was very sobering. It's so cold. I was like shivering. I had the fake hair on my chest, and I still had all the face paint on, and I'm wearing the yoga pants. I had some like platforms that I had just thrown some glitter on, some silver glitter, because I figured that would be something that Paul Stanley would be into, And so I didn't even take those off. I just ran out. I don't even. I've never ran around in platforms before, but somehow I went down the hall and down the stairs and out of the fire exit like before majority of the building. And I'm standing there. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just gonna go around the corner. It didn't really dawn on me that I should like try to leave, maybe go to a McDonald's or something, because I'm sure I was probably thinking more about. Well, I'm dressed as a member of Kiss. This is cool, and so over time, it was turned out it was one of the elderly guys on the first floor. He was cooking soup or something and kind of forgot about it. He's doing some midnight soup, and sure enough, it began burning on the stove and started making a whole bunch of smoke, and everyone was petrified they were gonna die, and so the fire department and I guess the fire alarm went off and the fire department came, and everybody's still in shock because we're all just sitting there waiting to be able to go in, or if everyone's house is actually gonna be on fire, and it was kind of sad because we all found out that um, Mr. Harrison, that's his name, Mr. Harrison was he had an orange cat, and his orange cat was named Garfield. And they're like best friends. He had like a little harness. He'd take Garfield out for walks, and I haven't seen many people take their cats out for a walk unless they're really like best friends with the thing. And that was Mr. Harrison. It was Mr. Harrison's cat. It was just his best friend. And one of the fire department guys comes out, and he's holding this orange fluff ball, and I guess Garfield died. I don't know if it was involved with the fire or not, but Garfield didn't make it. And Mr. Harrison just starts bawling, and it was really sad, and people were trying to console him, and it was heartbreaking to watch. And I remember thinking like, oh, I really wish I could go and say, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Harrison. But I couldn't do that because I was dressed as Paul Stanley. And so I'm like, okay, I'm thinking in my head, like, they're starting to clear the parking lot. They're saying we could go back in because, well, there was no real fire, and so people start going in. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this some time, and tomorrow I'll show up to Mr. Harrison's apartment. I'll get him a nice card. I'll, sorry for your loss. Maybe I'll get him some candy or something. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm really planning out, what I'm gonna do the next day, and and people are going. They're starting to go into the building, and I'm just trying to take my time. Nobody's saying anything about my costume at this point. Everyone's just kind of ignoring it, and I was feeling great. I'm like, okay, this awkwardness. I'm gonna get through this. It's gonna be fine. And then all of a sudden, a firefighter from across the way, he just yells, and it booms over everybody. You wanted the best? Well, you got the best. Because Paul Stanley's going to rock and roll all night and party every day. And he points at me. And a bunch of them start laughing and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And everybody, at this point, they're just like, okay. And they're like, oh my God, why are you dressed like this? Oh my goodness, right? And then everybody just laughing and doing this. And Mr. Harrison's still over there crying, and people are trying to, make him feel better, and people are looking at me disgusted and laughing and doing all this, and it was really awkward. It was really, really awkward. And I got inside, and I washed everything off, and I didn't try to explain. I went to a party, this, because it at that point it didn't feel worth it, and so a few days later, like nobody in the building is talking to me at this point, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I don't really want to talk to you guys anyways, and it was probably like, I want to say a week or two later. I was selling my PlayStation because I wasn't using it. I was playing my PlayStation 2. I was selling my PlayStation, and somebody, a woman and her, I guess, boyfriend or maybe just male friend showed up to go and buy it. And there was a little old Scottish woman, Mrs. McLaughlin. She lived like down the hall from me, and she would always tell me random things, and random facts about how you should start your day with a cup of coffee with Bailey's in it, and like all this weird like elderly knowledge. And she comes into the lobby while I'm talking with this woman and this man about my PlayStation, and she comes in and she's like, oh, Fiesto, are these your friends? I can't do a Scottish accent, but just imagine what I'm saying in a Scottish accent, and it'll make more sense. And I'm like, oh, no, these people are just buying something for me. She's like, oh, it's so good to see that you have friends. And then she looks at these people and she says, oh, he's such a funny guy. He's very, very silly. He wears women's clothes and makeup. I'm like, Mrs. McLaughlin, that was just a costume. And she's like, oh, he needs friends. And she proceeds to tell this to everybody that I bring to the apartment until I left. Like, until I moved out. She told everybody. My friends loved it. I would, like, if they came over and they knew about the story, they'd be like knocking on Mrs. McLaughlin's door, just be like, hey, can you tell us about Fiesto? Does he like to do? And she was always willing to go and say, oh yeah, he loves to wear makeup and women's clothes. If I had a female friend over, she'd be like, oh, are you gonna do makeup and wear her clothes? It's like, Miss McLaughlin, you really need to stop. And, eventually, Mr. Harrison did have a small gathering. I guess it was a funeral for his cat Garfield, and I didn't get the invite. I'm not really too shocked. I wasn't at the time about it. I was just kind of like, circumstances. Any other way, like any other time, I guarantee you he would have been like, oh, Fiesta, I want you to be there. You're a good guy and all this stuff. But like, when you have Paul Stanley standing in the parking lot and you're trying to deal with the death of your cat, I guess that creates some hard feelings.